Yes, Lakshmi, am I audible? Yes. So we have completed last
Her
class
name is
about
not Lakshmi. Her name is something else.
Oh, okay, sir. So last class we have discussed about the bryophytes, right? Yes, last week, not before week, we have finished the topic of about the bryophyte. Yes. Yes. So this week we will discuss about the topic is about the pteridophytes. Okay. Sir, is it visible, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So what is a pteridophyte, children? Lakshmi. Amma, what is the pteridophytes?
The first living organism with vessels, xylem and phloem.
Yes, very good. Okay, actually, algae, it is a plant body is not differentiated. Okay, it is in the form of thallus, right? It is in the form of thallus. And when we discuss about the algae, after we have discussed about the bryophytes, and the third one is pteridophytes, the angiosperms and gymnosperms. So when they discuss about the pteridophytes, it is the first land plants. Okay, it is a first land plants with the xylem and phloem. Okay, it is also called as tracheophytes. Okay, so the pteridophytes are also called as what is that? Tracheophytes. So the meaning of tracheophytes means, okay, they have a xylem and phloem. With help of the xylem and phloem, they can able to do what is that? The function of what is that? Conduction of food, water and minerals. So which is called as what is that? The pteridophytes. Okay. So about that only we are going to discuss in the today's class about the what is that? Pteridophytes. So it is the first land plants. Okay. So maximum available plants in Pathona, we have a fern. Okay. And also Selaginella, Equisetum, and also what is that? Salvinia. So these are the some of the what is that? The pteridophytes we used to see everywhere around the world. So what is a pteridophytes? If you see, it is a tracheophytes. Okay, it is also we can called as tracheophytic. So what is the meaning of tracheophytic? Na, they have what is that? Xylem and phloem. Okay, tracheophytic meaning they have what is that? Xylem and phloem for what? A conduction of food and water and minerals. So they are called as tracheophytes. Okay, and they are called as first terrestrial plants. So first terrestrial plants na, they are okay. First terrestrial plants na, after the first one the algae, it is a water plant. And bryophytes, it is a amphibians. It can able to grow both in water and also land. So the plant can grow only in the terrestrial when it is come to the next stage, that is the pteridophytes only. Okay, so that is called as the first terrestrial plants, and they having a vascular tissues like a what is that? Xylem and phloem. So they are also called as what is that? Tracheophytic. and they are called as archegonite. So what is archegonite? Na, they have a both male and female reproductive parts, antheridium and archegonium. Okay, and they are embryophytes with the seeds. Okay, and also up to bryophytes, we don't have any seeds. From the pteridophytes only, we have what is that? The embryo which is developed into what is that? Seeds. So these condition we could able to see in the where? At pteridophytes. Okay, so the name pteridophytes, it was not given, just make a note. The name derived, the pteridophytes, the name which is derived from the feather-like nature of the leaves of ferns. Okay, the leaves, when you see the leaves of the pteridophytes, they are look like a feather. If you see, this is the fern plant. If you see, it is look like what is that? A feather-like nature. Okay, so due to this feather-like nature of the leaves, okay, their name they got as what is that? A pteridophytes. Okay, and the who is the pteridology? Who is the father of pteridology? If you see, it's called as Haeckel. Okay, the scientist name is Haeckel. 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 He is called the what is that? Father of pteridology. The name pteridophytes, which is comes from the feather-like nature of the leaves. Okay, feather-like nature of the leaves. So pteron means feather, phyta means plant. Okay, so that is called as pteridophytes. So feather plant. Pteridophytes are also called feather plant also. And these are the first land plant with the vascular tissue. Okay, and commonly in the common it is a pteridophytes, and commonly வந்து இந்த pteridophytes வந்து what we can called as அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது, it is we can called as botanical snake or a vascular cryptogamms. Please make a note. Okay, pteridophytes are commonly called everywhere around the world. Commonly this plant is called as a botanical snake or a vascular cryptogamms. Okay, and most of the plants which is grow in the terrestrial only, and also moist and shady places it will grow, and some of the plants will grow on the water. Only few plants which is grow about the pteridophytes, when we discuss few plants which is grow in the what is that, in the water also. So these are Azolla, Salvinia, Marsilia. Make a note of it. Azolla, 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 Salvinia, 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 and Marsilia, Marselia. Marsilia. So these are the some of the plants which is grow both in the what is that? So not both, it live in the aquatic. Okay, so this is what about the introduction of this lesson. Okay, so pteridophytes, it is a what is that called as? Tracheophytic, archegonite, embryophytic with the seeds. The name derived from the feather-like leaf nature. And who is father of pteridology? Na? Haeckel. And pteron means feather, phyta means plant. So it is the first land plants with the vascular tissues. Okay, va? Pteridophytes are commonly called as botanical snakes or vascular cryptogamms. So most of the plants are grow in the terrestrial, but some of the plants can grow in the aquatic region also. The plants are Azolla, Salvinia, and Marsilia. Azolla, Salvinia, and Marsilia. And if you see the stem nature, okay, stem is okay, true stem. They have a true stem. They are aerial and underground rhizome also present. Okay, they are erect. What is mean by aerial? It is called as erect. Erect na, they can able to stand straightly in the terrestrial soil. Soil வந்து அதால வந்து என்ன பண்ண முடியும்னா ஸ்டாண்ட் நேரா நிக்க முடியும். So that is called as erect. Okay, va? So we can call it as what is that? The stem is aerial, or what is that? Erect and kuda sollala. That name is it can able to stand prostrate in the soil. Okay, and they have a roots also. They have a leaves also. So leaves, when we discuss about leaves, if you see, they are microphyllous, and some of the leaves are macrophyllous. There are two types of leaves are present in the pteridophytes. Okay, about the stem is true stem. Okay, the stem is true stem, Okay, and also some underground rhizome also they have. The stem is aerial and they can stand erect. Okay, and when we discuss about leaves, the leaves of the pteridophytes, they have a two types of leaves. One is small and large. The small leaves are called as microphyllous. The large leaves are called as macrophyllous. Okay, the small leaves, example, make a note. Small leaves, microphyllous leaves, example, Lycopodium, Selaginella equisitum. Make a note, microphyllous leaf, Lycopodium. Lycopodium, Selaginella, Selginella, Selaginella, and Equisetum, Equisetum, Equisetum. These are the example for microphyllous leaves. Okay, and the next one is large macrophyllous leaves examples, ferns. So majority of the ferns which is comes under the macrophyllous. Okay, and so if see in the microphyllous leaves, if you observe, the leaf trace does not disturb the vascular cylinder of the system. In macrophyllous leaves, the leaf trace produce the parenchymatous leaf gap in the vascular system of the stem. Okay, so the microphyllous, both macro and microphyllous leaf, the leaf traces we have, it will in microphyllous it will not disturb the vascular xylem and phloem disturb பண்ணாது. But in macrophyllus, if you see, they have a parenchymatous tissues in between. So it will present between the what is that? A xylem and phloem. So it will disturb the what is that? A xylem and phloem வந்து disturb பண்ணும். Okay, and so this is what about the what? The leaves. Okay, shall I ask few questions? Pteridophytes are commonly called as
Botanical snake.
in another name.
Vascular cryptograms.
Vascular cryptogams. Who is pteridology? Father of pteridology?
Hackle.
Hackle. Why we got the name like pteridophytes?
They have feather-like leaves.
Yeah, feather-like
They have
leaves.
vascular bundles.
Okay, okay, very good. The leaf structure, because the pteridophytes got the name due to the feather-like nature of leaves. Okay, and the next one. Can you give me what are the pteridophytic plants which can live in the aquatic? Pteridophytes which is live in aquatic. It can live, okay, maximum in the terrestrial, but some plants which live in the aquatic, what are they?
Saline.
Azola, make a note, Amma, make a note. Azola, Salvinia, Marsilia. Azola, Salvinia, Marsilia. Okay. Okay. Can you tell me what are the two types of leaves which is present in the pteridophytes?
Microphyllus and macrophyllus.
Okay, microphyllus and macrophyllus. Can you give me example for microphyllus leaves?
Lycopodium.
Correct.
Selaginella.
Equisetum. Very good, ma. Very good. Macrophyllus leaves. After the class, we will discuss some questions also. Okay. Macrophyllus leaves.
Okay.
Macrophyllus leaves. Example, ferns. Okay.
Ferns. Okay.
Okay. So, among these two, which leaf trait will disturb the vascular cylinder?
Microphyllus.
Microphyllus or macrophyllus? Microphyllus or macrophyllus? Macrophyllus. Why? Why macrophyllus leaves? It will disturb.
They have feather-like structure.
Macrophyllus leaf, they produce the large leaves, right? So they have a parenchymatous leaf gap in the vascular cylinder. Got it? Okay. Parenchymatous leaf gap they have in the vascular cylinder of the stem. So it will somewhat it will disturb. Okay. Okay. Yes. And so the next thing வந்து the vascular tissues present in the all the vegetative organs. Okay, all the vegetative organs, the leaves are present. Okay, ma.
Okay.
Yes, and what are the uses? If you see, we discuss about the uses of pteridophytes. Okay, they are used for medicinal purpose, and most of them are ornamentals. Okay, and also they are good soil binders. So, and one more thing, at present, the majority of the petrol diesels we are extracting, right? So these all are due to decomposition of what is that? These ferns only. In the old ancient time, if you see that there are lot of like a huge macrophylous ferns we have. Okay, so these all leaves are now it is not there. Okay, so all are decomposition ஆனதுனால தான் we are getting what is that the petrol diesel எல்லாமே வந்து என்னது extract பண்றோம். ஓகேவா? So medicinal purpose வந்து we don't have much here. Okay, so ornamental purpose only this plant have a uses. Okay, and also good soil binders. So these are the ferns. Okay, and also if you go everywhere, if you go any shops or malls everywhere, if you enter in the entrance itself, you could able to see what is that in the pot they kept for decorative purpose they have kept some of the feather like structures. So mostly for ornamental purpose only this plant we have. Okay, va? And what is about the reproduction we are going to discuss? Yes, shall I go with the reproduction? Yes, and the leaves. Okay, so the leaves of the pteridophytes, if you see, they have a sporangia. Amma, you see this backside. So these are the leaves. The front side, okay, the ventral side we can say. So they have what is that? Small, small spores. Small spores on the leaves. So here only what is that? The reproductions will be takes place. The leaf bearing sporangia are called as sporophyll. These are called as sporophyll. The leaf will bear the what is that? The spores. These spores are called as what is that? Sporophyll. Okay. And so these some of the sporophytes, if you see, for example, this is a equisetum plant. In this condition, the sporophylls are present in the backside of the leaves. And in these conditions, the sporophylls, which is present in like a structure like a cone and strobilus. Cone and strobilus formல என்ன இருக்கும்னா the reproductive structures வந்து present ஆயிருக்கும். See, in some pteridophytes, the sporophylls form distant compact structure. The sporophylls will form what is that? A compact structure like a strobilus or a cone. Okay, generally these spores are applied. Okay, these spores வந்து எப்படி இருக்கும்னா applied spores and they are distributed into the air. Okay, they have distributed into the air. The spores are applied spores. These spores are liberated into the air. So this is what a reproductive structure. We'll see further, we'll go with the reproduction. Okay, so where the reproductive structures are present na, so in a pteridophytes, the leaf bearing region is called as sporophyll. In some plants of the pteridophytes, the sporophylls வந்து என்னது form the compact structure like what are they? A strobilus and a cone. Okay, and so more maximum the sporophylls produce the spores are applied nature. They are liberated into the where? The air. This is what about the what is that? The reproduction. And the reproduction, if you see, first in the during the reproduction, during the reproduction, if you observe, usually the pteridophytes, the spores will be produced, I said, right? It is the applied spores. Okay, it is the applied spores. So the spores, how it is get germinated and how it will be grow into the new individual. Okay, in the life cycle of fern. Okay, we are going to discuss. In such case, if you see, in sporangium, spores mother cells form the spore upon the meiosis. The spores are formed during the meiosis. The spores when they form during the meiosis from the spore mother cell will be formed. So maximum spores, I told it is the haploid spores. Okay, and these applied spores germinate and form reduced multicellular prothalae. The spores will germinate and it is give rise to what is that? The haploid gametophyte, which is called as what is that? Prothallus. Okay, so which is leafy or autotrophic. So this it bears these prothalae. Okay, it bears female sex organs archegonia and male sex organs androdia. So we'll discuss what is that. First, how the haploid spores only involved in the reproduction I told. So from where the spores will be formed now? First வந்து I told already sporophylls. In the sporophylls, we have a spore mother cells. From the spore mother cells, okay, spores will be formed upon meiosis. These spores are haploid in nature. These haploid spores are germinate and it will give rise the haploid gametophyte, okay, or a prothallus will be formed. Okay, the prothallus will be formed. Okay, then these prothallus consist of both the male and female structures. The female is called as sex organ is called as archegonia and male sex organ is called as androidium. Okay, so this gametophyte, that is a prothallus, to grow. Okay, இது grow ஆகணும்னா it require cool, damp, shady places for. Okay, for the growth, it need what is that? Cool, damp, and shady places. So, due to this water requirement, the spread of pteridophyte is restricted in the narrow geographical regions. Okay, actually, um, the water requirement, okay, kandipa for the antheridium and archegonium growth or a prothallus growth, it need what is that? The water is very, very important. Okay, va? So, due to this water requirement, the spread of pteridophyte is restricted in the narrow geographical. எல்லா இடத்துலையுமே வந்து இந்த பிளான்ட் இருக்குமானா இல்ல. ஓகே, ஒன்லி த வாட்டர் அவைலபிலிட்டி ரீஜன் எங்க இருக்குமோ அந்த இடத்துல மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும். ஏன்னா இட் நீடட் வாட் இஸ் தட்? ஷேடி டேம்ப் ரீஜன். கொஞ்சம் மாய்ஸ்டா இருக்கிற ஏரியா எப்பவுமே இதோடைய growthக்கு வந்து தேவைப்படுறதுனால என்னது? இட் இஸ் ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்டட் இன் தி சம் ஆஃப் தி ஜியோகிராபிக்கல் ரீஜன்ஸ். ஓகே, அண்ட் மெஜாரிட்டி ஆஃப் த pteridophytes are homophorous. What do you mean by homophorous? Same kind of spores are produced. Okay, va? Same kind of spores are produced in majority of the pteridophytes. Okay, so examples in Lycopodium, teres. So these plants, okay, comes under the homophorous. Okay, in these plants, the spores germinate and form the what is that? Monoecious prothallus. What is monoecious prothallus? Monoecious nena, dioecious nena. What do you mean by monoecious and dioecious?
Both sex are present monoecious.
Yeah, both sex organs, that is both archegonia and androdia are present in the same prothallus is called as monoecious. Okay, and dioecious is different. Okay, male separately and female separately. Okay, and genera like Selaginella, Salvinia, they produce two kinds of spores. So macro large spores and micro small spores. So they are known as heterosporous. Okay, va? So you got it about the reproduction, how it takes place. So we discussed about the introduction, how it is growth and the stem, leaf structures, roots, everything. Second, we have discussed about the reproduction. So the reproduction, idhula vandu the economical importance is very less because ornamentally it is useful. There is no much importance in the economically. Okay, and when it is comes to the reproduction, so the leaves have what is that? Small the sporophyllis. In this sporophyllis only what will be produced? The spores will be produced. Okay, and the spores are haploid in nature. Okay, these spores, okay, formed, okay, from the what is that? Sporangial mother cell during the meiosis division. So during the meiotic division, when it is divided, when the spores are formed, okay, the prothalli, okay, the spores will germinate to form what is that? Prothalli or gametophyte will be formed. This prothalli contain both the sex organs, what? Male and female. Okay, for the growth of the gametophyte, that is a male and female prothalli to grow, they need what is that? Cool, damp, shady places. Okay, but due to this growth, it need a water, right? So that the pteridophytes are what is that? Restricted in the narrow geographical locations. Okay, and majority of the pteridophytes, if you see about the spores presence conditions பார்த்தோம்னா majority of the spores வந்து homophorous because both the spores are present in the same prothallus only. But in some of the organisms it is heterosporous. For example, like Selaginella and Salvinia, they produce what is that, two kinds of spores. One is a macrospores and another one is the megaspores. Okay. And so the next one, the megaspores and microspores germinate and give rise what is that, female and male gametophyte. That is in the dioecious case. Okay. And next one, the female gametophytes in the plants are retained on the parent sporophytes for the variable period. The growth of zygote into young embryo take place within the female gametophyte. This event is precursor to the seed habit consideration step into the evolutionarily. It is very, very important step. Okay, evolutionarily, it is very, very important step. It was given. The prothallus consists of male antheridium and female archegonium. The anthrozoites produced in the antheridium and archegonium will produce egg. So antheridium will produce what is that? Anthrozoites are a sperm. Okay, the archegonium will produce the egg. So when this antheridium archegonium fuse together, we will get what is that, zygote during the fertilization, and which is developed into what is that, a diploid sporophyta வந்து என்ன ஆகும்னா it will be diploid but develop. So this is the phone prothallus. இந்த prothallus-ல தான் என்ன ஆகும், we have what is that, both the male and female reproductive organs are present. Okay, so this is what the heterosporous we will discuss. Before that, I will complete how the antheridium and archegonium, how it will meet and how the reproduction takes place. Okay, see, can you give me example where the heterosporous condition can you observe? In which are plants the heteroporous seed condition we could see? We have given it is Selaginella and Salvinia. Okay, so usually pteridophytes homophorous only main. Example வந்து Lycopodium, Terry. So these are the plants, they have homospory. But in some of the members like a Selaginella and Salvinia, they produce what is that, two types of spores. One is the microspore and another one is the megaspore. They called as heterospory. Okay, so the microspore produce male gametophyte. Okay, and megaspore will produce the female gametophyte. Okay, so the female gametophyte retained on the parent sporophyte for a period. So here the male gametophyte will be not retained. Okay, the female gametophyte in these plants are retained on the parent sporophytes for the variable period. For majority of the time வந்து in the female gametophyte வந்து என்ன ஆயிரும்னா, it will be retained in the parent itself. Okay, and here only the development of zygotes, male and female fusion taken place, and the development of zygotes, the zygote into embryo takes place within a female gametophyte. This event is what is that, the precursor to the seed habit consideration in the important step in the what is that, evolution. Important step in the evolution. Important step in the evolution. Okay, important step of the evolution. Okay va? So in the female plant வந்து which is retained in the parent itself, so the male will fuse which form the zygote which is developed into embryo. Okay, later the embryo which is developed into what is that, a next condition of seed. So this is an important step for the what is that, the basis of the evolution in these plants. Okay, and next one, the antheridia. So antheridia is what is that, male reproductive part. Okay, and the female, okay, they are either it is projected or embedded. Okay, the antheridia, the male reproductive parts are there, no? So how it will be present in the parent now? It is embedded. Now it will bound inside the plant. Otherwise, sometimes it will be project out. Melotama irukku. They are with or without stalker. Okay, they have the jacket has 3 or more cells. They are covered by the jacket. Within antheridia, androcytes. Okay, that is androzoites will be formed. Male gametes will be formed. The male gametes are biflagellated. Now they have a 2 flagella. Okay, in some androzoites are multiflagellated. எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் வந்து என்னதுன்னா மல்டிசீலியேட்டட் வந்து ட்ரையாப்டெரிஸ் அண்ட் ஈக்விசிட்டம். ஸோ இது எல்லாமே வந்து என்னதுன்னா தே ஹாவ் அ மல்டிசீலியா. But in Selaginella lycopodium, they are what is that? Biflagellated. Okay. And when you see the Archegonium, it is embedded. Embedded na, it is not projected. It is embedded. Embedded na, it is present inside the what is that? A plant. Okay. And they have a two cells. Okay. Venter and projected neck cells they have. So the venter cell is surrounded by what is that? Prothallus cells. It has a egg cell and venter canal cell. The neck has 4 vertical row of jacket cell, each row having a different number of cells. Okay, the neck canal cells, one or many. The archegonial secretion has a malic acid to attract the, what is that? Male gametes. Okay, in archegonia, there is one of the special characteristic it has. It will secrete the what? Malic acid for what? To attract the male gametes. So this is one of the thing. Here, the male gamete is retained in the parent sporophyte per period. The development of zygote in the young embryo takes place within the female gametophyte. This event is considered the beginning of what is that seed habit in the terrestrial plant. So this condition is very, very important. The heterospory of seed habit is very, very important conditions. Okay, so they have a different types classes we have. So how the Antheridia archegonia structures are there na? So the Antheridia, how it is present in the plant ma? In sporophyll, how the Antheridia will be present? In two way it is present in the plant. What are they? Amma, what are the two male and female reproductive parts? Can you name that?
Antheridium,
Okay,
Antheridium,
no doubt.
Archegonium.
Yeah, very good. No doubt in this, right? இப்போ வந்து I'm telling about the Antheridia and I will go with the Archegonium and later I will go with the fusion how it is takes place. Okay, so if you see Antheridium and Archegonium, the Antheridium பார்த்தோம்னா it is okay present. Antheridium பார்த்தோம்னா it is present inside the plant உள்ளேயும் இருக்கும் or projected out. Make a note, Antheridia either it is projected or it is embedded. Antheridia, they have a stalk and without stalk also they have present. Okay, and these Antheridia is covered by the jacket. Okay, jacket cells ala cover ஆயிருக்கு. Okay va? And within the Antheridia, okay, it will form the anthrozoites, that is the male gamete. Anthrozoites are formed within the Antheridia. Okay, and so these anthrozoites are two types of anthrozoites will be produced. Okay, so that is male gamete. Two types of male gametes are there. One is biflagellated male gametes. Another one is multiciliated male gametes will be produced. The biflagellated male gamete, if you see, which is present in the Selaginella and Lycopodium. Make a note. Make a note. Selaginella and Lycopodium, we have a biflagellated anthrozoites. But in the Dryopteris, Dryopteris, Dryopteris and Equisetum, they have a multiciliated. Okay, they have a multiciliated will be present. Anthrozoites will be present. Any doubt about Antheridium? Next, I'll move to the Archegonium. Is it clear?
Okay.
Yes. The next, Antheridia, it is present in the two way in plant. One is projected or it is embedded. Projected na மேலோட்டமா இருக்கும் or embedded na plant குள்ள prothallus குள்ள இருக்கும். Okay, and some Antheridia they have a stalk and some of the Antheridia they don't have a stalk and they are covered by the jacket cells. Okay, and the Antheridia, within Antheridia, male gamete, that is anthrozoites will be produced. Okay, these male gametes are biflagellated or what is that? They are multiciliated. So what is a biflagellated? They have a two flagella. So it is called multiflagellated. Examples, Selaginella and Lycopodium. And multiciliated. What is a multiciliated? Na? They have a cilia, hair-like structures, which is present around the body. So it is called as, what is that? The multiciliated. Okay, so they are example Dryopteris and Equisetum. The Dryopteris and Equisetum, they have a such conditions. Okay, na? Yes. So the next thing the archegonium, female reproductive part we are going to discuss. So in female reproductive part, they has embedded venter and projected neck cells they have. Okay, so in female reproductive part, the bottom part they have what is that venter cell, and the upper region they have a what is that projected neck cells they have. So the female archegonium, which is made up of two cells, one is the venter and another one is the neck cell. They have a two cells, right? And the venter cells are surrounded by prothallus cells. Okay, in venter cell only we have what is that egg cells are present. The egg cells are present inside the what is that venter cell only. And the neck cell pathona we have a rows of Jacquet cells are present. Many numbers of Jacquet cells are present. Okay, many numbers of Jacquet cells are present. Mhm. Okay, many numbers of Jacquet cells are present. Okay, so here in the tell me where the egg cells are present. Archegonium, which
Venter,
is made up of two parts. One is venter cell, another one is what is that? Neck cell, right?
next cell, ma'am.
Yes. Venter cell is what the cells are present in the venter cell?
Egg cell,
The egg cells are present in the where? Venter cell. Okay, neck cell என்ன இருக்குன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கேன்? ஜாக்கெட் செல்ஸ். ஓகே, ஜாக்கெட் செல்ஸ்னா அதை ப்ரொடெக்ட் பண்றதுக்கான கவர் அப் பண்றதுக்கான செல்ஸ். ஓகே, தே ஹேவ் அ ரோஸ் ஆஃப் வாட் இஸ் தட் ஜாக்கெட் செல்ஸ். ஓகே, இட் இஸ் இன் டிஃபரெண்ட் நம்பர்ஸ் ஆஃப் செல்ஸ் விச் இஸ் பிரசன்ட் இன் தி நெக் ரீஜியன் ஆஃப் தி ஆர்கிகோனியம். Okay, and the archegonium they have a venter cell, they have a egg cell, right? This egg cell and the male gamete will be fused. Okay, and to male gamete to attract, okay, the archegonium will secrete the what is that a chemical that is called as what is that malic acid. Make a note of it, malic acid. Okay, na, malic acid. So now both fertilization is oogamous type. So that is oogamous na, both a male and female gametes fused together. Okay, in a archegonium venter cell only the zygote will form. The zygote which is developed into embryo. Okay, young sporophyte derives the nourishment from the gametophyte only in the early stage. Okay, now from the gametophyte we form what is that sporophyte. So beginning of the stage it will get the nutrition from the gametophyte, later which is grow into what is that new individuals. Okay, so this event, okay, it is helpful for what seed habit. It represents the important step in the what evolution. Okay, so the life cycle of pteridophytes are diplohaplantic, and also alternation generation is heteromorphic generation. Okay, they have a heteromorphic generation and also diplohaplantic, this condition. Okay, this condition is called as, so diplohaplantic, first we have a gametophytic stage, after we will have a sporophytic stage. So இதுதா என்னது diplohaplantic alternation of generation. Okay, va? And so this is what about the what the pteridophytes. Example, some of the classes Psilopsida, Psilotum. Okay, example Lycopsida, Selaginella and Lycopodium. And next one Spinopsida, Equisitum. Pteropsida, Triopteris, Pteris and Adiantum. So these are the what is that some of the examples of what some of the classes of what pteridophytes. Okay, Psilopsida, Psilotum and Lycopsida, Selaginella and Lycopodium, Spinopsida, Equisitum and Pteropsida. Okay, so that is Triopteris. Okay, and Triopteris and what is that? The example Triopteris, Pteris and Adiantum. Okay, these are the four classes the pteridophytes they have. Okay, ma? Any doubt? Okay, ma. So this is the condition of what is that? So this is the pteridophytes about the pteridophytes. So these are the and this is the Equisitum and Selaginella plants, and also it is some of the fern. So this is what about the topic. Okay, so the next one we are going with what is that? The gymnosperm. Okay, so this is about the next topic about the gymnosperms. Yes, shall I move? Yes, we'll complete these lessons. Okay. Yes. So what is the gymnosperms? So first we land plants, we know pteridophytes, right? Can you give me a few questions? I'll ask, answer me. Okay. Adiantum belong to the class? Adiantum belongs to the class. Which class? The adiantum which belongs.
Pteridophyta.
The last week. What is that? Adiantum where it is? Pterophyta. What is that? Pterophyta. Next, heteroporous. Heterophytes. Yeah. Heteroporous pteridophytes. Salvinia, Lycopodium, Teres, Funaria. Question: Heteroporous pteridophyta is heteroporous.
Not clear.
Huh?
I'm not clear.
The heteroporous pteridophytes example of Salvinia and Selaginella. The genera like Salvinia and Selaginella, they produce two kinds of spores, right? Two kinds of spores, macro and microspores. They are known as heterosporous. So answer is Salvinia. Okay. Next, the fern Prothallis. Prothallis is also called as
Um,
Prothallis is also called as
haploid gametophyte.
yeah, very good. Gametophyte. Okay. So like few of the questions I will share you after the class. You just try to answer for that. Okay. So next one, Nandar, we are going with the next topic about the gymnosperms. Okay. The gymnosperms, it is also, they are known as naked seed and they are open seeded plants. Amma mute ma? Okay, mute. Okay, yes. So gymnosperms, if you see, they are called as what is that? Open seeded plant or a naked seeds. Okay, gymnosperms. So once again, I will the reproduction of pteridophytes alone. I'll recap. Antheridium, Archegonium are reproductive parts. Okay, so the antheridium, which is either it is embedded or it is it is projected over the plant. Okay, so antheridium which produce the anthrozoites. Okay, so the anthrozoites are two types. One, either it is a biflagellated or multiciliated. Then archegonia, when we discuss, they have a two cells. One is the neck cells and another one is the venter cells. The venter cells, they have what is that? Egg cells. Okay, so the anthrozoites will move towards the what is that? The archegonium egg cells. For this, they secrete one of the acid which is called as malic acids. When the antheridium archegonium, the egg cells and the sperm cells will fuse together, they will produce the what is that? Zygote. The zygote which is developed into what is that? Embryo. The embryo which is developed into a seed. So this is the basis of evolution I told. And the seed formation kana basis எதிலிருந்து start ஆச்சுன்னா that is from the pteridophytes only. ஓகேவா? ஆனா இங்க வந்து the seeds are present. They are what is that? Naked seeds. They are not covered by any plants. It is comes under what is that? The seeds without fruit wall. Okay, so they are naked seeds or a open seeded. They are naked seed or what is that? Open seeded plants. Okay, and the scientist, okay, the Gobel, okay, Goebel, make a note. Goebel. Gobel called gymnosperms are phanerogames without ovary. Make a note. Phanerogames, Phanerogams. Phanerogames without ovary. Okay, the term given by Gobel, phanerogames, okay, without ovary அப்படிங்கிற terms கொடுத்தவர் வந்து Gobel. The word gymnosperm means, gymno means naked, spermi means what is that? Seed. Okay, it was used by the naked seeded அப்படிங்கிற வேர்டை வந்து யார் யூஸ் பண்ணார்னா Theophrastus. Please make a note. So the two scientists names I told. One of the scientists name Gobel, Goebel. Gobel He called gymnosperms are phanerogames without ovary. Okay, it was he called without ovary na they are not covered by the seed coat. The seeds are not covered by the seed coats. அப்படிங்கறத வந்து சொன்னது வந்து கோபல். And the word gymnosperms was used by Theophrastus. Theo Theo Phrastus. Theophrastus. Theophrastus, he used the what is that gymnosperms in his book. The book name is Enquiry into the Plants. Enquiry into the Plants. In this book only, he has mentioned that the gymnosperms are naked seeded plant. Okay. Okay, va. Enquiry into the plants. Okay, so majority of these plants, if you see, they are like a trees, but few are what is that shrubs and climbers also. Okay, and on one hand they resemble flowering plant in the seed habits, while other hand they resemble pteridophytes in the bearing the sporangia and sporophylls and producing female kites with the archegonia. So the gymnosperms, okay, in one hand ஒரு சைட்ல if you see it resembles like what is that flowering plants like a angiosperms. Other hand if you see they bear the what is that sporangia and sporophylls, right? So in this they have a gametophytes also. Okay, so it is similar like a pteridophytes. So they have a similarities both the condition also. One condition like a angiosperms and another condition like a pteridophytes. ரெண்டு கண்டிஷன்லயுமே இதுக்கு வந்து என்ன ஆகுது மேட்ச் ஆகுது. Okay va? And the distribution if you see, so it's a group of gymnosperms, many represented by many fossil and living genera. ஃபாசில் வந்து the preservative இடத்துல வந்து அதிகமா வந்து வச்சிருக்கிறது வந்து என்னது gymnosperms only, and they are living genera. Throughout the world it is present. Gymnosperms and pteridophytes, I told, it is the narrow geographical region because of the water requirement. Okay, but இது வந்து it is throughout the world it is distributed. Okay, so it is in the tropical region, temperate region, Arctic region. So all over the world this plant was distributed. Okay, and some when you see these organisms, some of the organisms வந்து represented by the a single genus or a species, while other வந்து it is represent the what is that group are become extinct and it is fossilized. Okay, some species still it is there, some is extinct and some are fossilized. Okay, and if you see in the gymnosperm which one is a long surviving individual அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா it is called as living fossil. Okay, so which one is the long survival individual? Okay, that means a living fossil na, that is ginkgo. 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 The ginkgo is called as, it is one of the plant, comes under the gymnosperms. They are called as living fossils. They can survive long time individual. They are long surviving individual. They are long surviving individual. So they are called as living fossils. Example, ginkgo. Okay, va? Okay, so the distribution already I told, two scientists I said, one is Goebel. So he told the gymnosperms are what is that, the phanerogames. It is the picture it was given. See, this is the cycas and it is the pinus, like a Christmas tree, no? So same thing, it is the ginkgo. I told na, make a note of it. It's very very important plant. The most of the questions repeatedly asking na, what is this plant, about this plant. So which is called as living fossil. Ginkgo is called as what is that, living fossil, because it is surviving individual for long time. Okay na? And mostly these plants are distributed throughout the world. Everywhere it is present. Okay, and some species வந்து single genus species இருக்கும், some species வந்து group ஆவும் இருக்கும். Okay na? Yes. And cycas, about the cycas, this is the cycas plant. Okay, it is regarded as a living fossil because most of the cycas species are confined to tropical and subtropical region, and the group is becoming endangered. What do you mean by endangered, ma? Extinct na enna? What do you mean by endangered?
அழியக்கூடிய ஸ்பீசிஸ்.
Yeah, அழிஞ்சது வந்து extinct. அழியக்கூடியது, அதாவது அழிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கிறது. ஓகேவா? தே ஆர் கால்ட் அஸ் endangered. Therefore cycas has been referred to as reptiles of the plant kingdom. Make a note, these plants are called as reptiles of the plant kingdom. What I told about the cycas, about the zinco, what I told, it is a living fossil, long surviving individual. Okay na? About the cycas, if you see, cycas is called as, what is that, regarded as nowadays, okay, it is this also, okay, this also ன்னு சொல்லி கொடுத்துறாங்க. So this also regarded as, what is that, living fossil. This is also a living fossil because most of the cycas species are confined to in some particular region. எங்கன்னா tropical and subtropical regions, and group is become endangered. Okay, mostly it is confined. எங்க confined பண்ணிருக்காங்க? The region like a tropical and subtropicals, and they are, what is that, they are facing the danger, endanger. Okay, so therefore cycas has been referred to as reptiles of the plant kingdom. These plants are called as, what is that, reptiles of the plant kingdom. Okay, so this is what about the distribution. So throughout the world present, so mostly cycas is confined in the tropical and subtropical region. Ginkgo is the living fossil which is present everywhere. Okay, so this is what about the distribution you want to know. About the gymnosperm, who called the naked seeds அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, okay, the Theophrastus in the book Enquiry into the Plants. Okay, who called the you know what is meant by phanerogames and cryptogamous? Can you tell me what you mean by phanerogamous and cryptogamous? I told the word phanerogamous without over in சொல்லியிருக்கேன் இல்லையா? What do you mean by phanerogamous?
Covered, not covered with seed.
Cryptogamous na?
They have vascular bundles.
They have a
Vascular bundles.
what are the plants which is comes under the phanerogamous? What are the plants which is comes under the cryptogamous?
Phanerogamous means cycas, pinus, ginkgo.
Only cycas pinus. What about the angiosperm, gymnosperm? The angiosperms which is comes under?
Phanerogamous only.
Angiosperms comes under the, what is that? Seeded plants comes under the, what is that? Phanerogamous. Okay.
Phanerogamous.
No seeded plants வந்து comes under the, what is that? Not seeded plants are comes under the cryptogamous. அது தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். ஓகேவா? Yes. So next one was about habitat and habit. Okay, habitat. Okay, and gymnosperms வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா they are xerophytic. What do you mean by xerophytic?
Water living, ma'am.
Xerophytic. Hydrophytes na water living. Hydrophytes na water living. What do you mean by xerophytic?
Desert follow, ma'am.
Zero na என்னது? Desert, correct. Okay, so the xerophytic, yeah, correct. Okay, it is a evergreen and woody perennial. Okay, woody perennial. Perennial na it can survive for many years. Annual na 1 year, biennial na 2-year plants. Perennial na many years the plant can survive. So that is called perennials. Okay, and some of them are aquatic forms. No aquatic forms are present here, but in the pteridophytes I told some of the aquatic forms are present. Example Salvinia and all. But gymnosperm la pathona aquatic forms are absent. Okay, so mostly they are tree. Mainly they are trees. Rarely are, what is that, shrub and herbs will be seen. Okay, Neetum, it is one of the woody climber, and it is and in the world which is the smallest gymnosperm? There is one question. Which is the smallest gymnosperm? Make a note. Zamia pyjamia. Zamia pyjamia is the smallest gymnosperm. Zamia pyjamia is the smallest gymnosperm. வந்து என்னதுன்னா Zamia and pyjamia. And இல்ல, Zamia genus, pyjamia is a species. ZAMIA, Zamia, ZAMIA PYGMAE is the smallest gymnosperm. Zamia pyjama is the smallest gymnosperms. Okay, and the giant என்னது, the world biggest one, the பெருசா இருக்கும்பாங்கல, the giant of plant kingdom என்னதுன்னா Okay, Sequoiadendron giganteum, redwood of California, which is present in the California la வந்து இருக்கு. Sequoiadendron, make a note of it. Sequoiadendron, Sequoiadendron, Sequoiadendron giganteum, Giganteum. Common name is called as redwood tree. It is present in the California. So it is the tallest living plant with more than 100-meter height. I think in the grade 9th and all you have learned about this. Okay, so 100-meter height, more than 50-meter girth irukku. Make a note. 100-meter height, more than 15-meter girth is present now. That is, what is that? Zamia pyjamia. Zamia pyjamia. It is the smallest gymnosperm. Sequoiadendron giganteum. It is the gigantic plant kingdom. Gigantic plant kingdom layer, which is the gigantic. That is Sequoiadendron giganteum, redwood, common name, which is present in the California. So the world tallest living plant, and it can grow more than 100 meters height and 15 meters girth. Redwood tree. Okay, it is in the California. Sequoiadendron giganteum. So this is what about habitat and habit. So gymnosperms are xerophytic nature and evergreen, and it is a woody perennial. Okay, and mostly when the aquatic forms are absent, they are the world smallest plant வந்து what is that? Zamia pyjama, smallest gymnosperm. Neetum பார்த்தோம்னா it is the neetum is the, what is that? Woody plants. Okay, neetum வந்து woody plants, and the world gigantic plant kingdom வந்து the Sequoiadendron giganteum, redwood in California. So it is nearly 100-meter height and 15-meter வந்து என்னது girth இருக்கும். Okay, and the external features, if you see, the dominant sporophyte. Okay, இது வந்து make a note of it. So in gymnosperm, which stage is the dominant na? Sporophyte stage. So because they are evergreen nature, right? Gametophytic stage வந்து short period, sporophyte stage வந்து long period. The root system வந்து taproot systems. Okay, taproot system they have, and there is a special thing also it is present in this, because if you see, many of the roots வந்து often infected with the blue green algae or a fungi. If the root system, if it is infected with the blue green algae, then it is called as coralloid root. It is present in the cycas plant. In the cycas plant, root is called as coralloid root, because the coralloid root na, which is infected with the blue green algae. Okay, blue green algae. And the fungi in some of the plants, the root system which is affected with the fungi, then it is called as mycorrhizal root. This condition we could able to see in the pinus. Pinus la வந்து we could able to see, what is that? Okay, pinus வந்து we could able to see fungal association, then mycorrhiza. Yeah, mycorrhiza, and this is the coralloid root. It is in the cycas plant. It is a blue green algae. It is infected with, so symbiotic association of Nostoc, Anabina seen in the specialized root in the cycas. இது வந்து cycas ma, in the root system. So this is called as coralloid root, and this root system is called as, what is that? Mycorrhizal root. It is the root system which is infected with the fungus. So they have a symbiotic relationship. Both have a symbiotic relationship. So this is what about the condition of mycorrhiza and coralloid root. Any doubt? Any doubt, Amma? And
No, ma'am.
so the leaves also பார்த்தோம்னா they can able to stay in the extreme temperature, wind, humidity la வந்து they can able to adapt. And if you see some of the plant like conifers எல்லாமே needle like leaves. So the needle like leaves வந்து if they can able to, what is that? Reduce the surface area of water. And also leaves வந்து covered by with thick cuticle. And also sunken stomata also present to reduce the water loss. So these are the some of the important features which is present in the what? The plant of the what? The gymnosperms. Okay, and the next one வந்து about the water. We are going with the next thing about the gymnosperms. We know about leaves and mycorrhiza, coralloid root and we know. The next we are going with what is that? The reproduction in the gymnosperms. Okay, and heterosporous gymnosperms on the and also if you discuss about anatomical characters, we'll see the reproduction and we'll go with the anatomical characters. Okay, so reproduction, if you see gymnosperms, okay, most of the living gymnosperm, the reproductive structures are sporophylous. So same thing we have studied in the pteridophytes also. The structure we can call as sporophylous only. Okay, and they are aggregated together in the form of cones and strobili. Okay, cones and strobili form la enna irukum? This is the what? Cones. And in the form of cones or in the form of strobili, they are aggregated. Okay, and flowers, if you see these gymnosperms, they are naked flowers. Okay, flowers are naked except in Neetaceae. Okay, except in Neetaceae. Neetum plant is there, na? In Neetum plant, the flowers are covered by the perianth. What do you mean by perianth? What do you mean by perianth? Perianth means both calyx corolla together which is present. அதாவது there is no differentiation of calyx corolla. Okay, together if it is present, it is called as perianth, which surround the what is that? Sporophyllis. Okay, and the male cone and female cone, if you see, the male cone or male flower as microphyllus, and microphyllus and megasporophyllis present in the same plant of the pinus plant, or in two different plant in the cycas also present. Okay, what it was given. So the gymnosperms also heterosporous. They are living gymnosperm. The reproductive structures on the what is that? Sporophyllis. These sporophyllis are aggregated to form a particular structure like a cone and strobili. Okay, they have what is that? In the strobili, they have bear both microphyllus and megasporophyllis are present. Okay, and so the microspores or pollens are produced in the microsporangium, and megasporangium or ovule is produced in the what is that? Megasporophyllis leaf. And if you see the male cone and male flower, okay, are called as microsporophyllis, and microsporophyllis, megasporophyllis are female. Okay, in the ரெண்டுமே வந்து monoecious and dioecious condition also we have. We have a monoecious and dioecious condition also we have. Okay, if the both male and female are present in the same plant is an example of pinus. Pinus, both the plants are present in the same plant. So that is monoecious. And in cycas, if you see, both are present in the different plants. Example when the cycas, dioecious plant. Okay, va? So these are the what is that? Some of the reproductive characters about the what? The plant. The gymnosperm, they are comes under the heterosporous. Okay, they produce the what is that? Reproductive structure. Sporophyllis will be produced. These sporophyllis, what will happen? Aggregate. ஒன்னு சேர்ந்து it will form a structure like a cone or a prothallus will be formed. Okay, and the flowers வந்து in some plants the flowers are naked, but in the Neetum, if you see, the flowers are covered by what is that? The perianth. Okay, and so the male flower வந்து we can call it as microsporophyllis, and female flower we can call it as the megasporophyllis. So the microsporophyllis will produce the pollen grains. The female, okay, megasporophyllis will produce the what is that? Ovule. And some plants both will present in the same plant. Example pinus. And some plants it is both is in different. For example, in the cycas. Okay, na? Yes. So the next thing we are going with what is that? How the reproduction will be produced. How it is takes place. The reproduction, how it is takes place. Okay. And here microsporangia are born on the under surface of the each microphyllus in the cycas. So spore mother cell present in the sporangia undergo reduction division to produce the applied microspores. Got it? Same thing pteridophytes only. Pteridophytes la enna sollirken? From the spore mother cell, spores will be produced. These spores are produced by the reduction division. That is the meiosis. Sollirkena? Yes, I not. I told or not? Yes, children? Yes, ma? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So here also same amma. Don't get confused. Pteridophytes and gymnospermல beginningல வந்து reproduction start ஆகுறது எப்படி இருக்குன்னா numerous microsporangia. are born on the under surface of each microsporophyll. Okay, in cycus. And the spore mother cell வந்து present in the sporangia undergo reduction division to produce the applied microspores. Then these microspores further will develop into what is that? A gametophyte. And male gametophytes are liberated in the three-celled stage. Make a note. In the male gametophyte, once which is produced from the sporangia or from the microsporangia, okay, which cell stage la வந்து parentல இருந்து liberated ஆகுது, it will come out na male gametophyte which is liberated at 3-cell stage in the cycus. In cycus la வந்து 3-cell stage லயே வந்து liberated out. And in pinus it is in the 4-cell stage. Okay, so first வந்து என்ன ஆகும்னா the microspore mother cell, okay, present in sporangia, that is undergo reduction division, will produce the applied microspores. So this further develop into what is that? Gametophyte. So this male gametophyte which is liberated out from the parent plant either in a 3-cell stage or in the 4-cell stage. 3-cell stage example is a male gametophyte of cycus, but in the pinus it is in the 4-cell stage. Pinus it is in the 4-cell stage. Okay na? Yes. So here if you see the reduced male gametophyte is called as what is that? Pollen grains. The male gametophyte is called as what is that? Pollen grains னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, so this pollen grains character எப்படி இருக்கும்னா the male gametophytes are non-motile except ginkgo and cycus. Hence siphonogamous type of oogamy is observed. What do you mean by siphonogamous? What do you mean by siphonogamous? Here mostly if you see majority of the plant, okay, the male will move towards the parent, that is female, right? Male வந்து என்ன பண்ணும்? Move towards the female body. Okay, but இங்க இந்த கண்டிஷன்ல வந்து என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா here the pollination நடக்கும்போது the pollen வந்து pollen grains வந்து they are the male gametophytes வந்து non-motile except in ginkgo and cycus. Okay, they are non-motile, right? இந்த ginkgo and cycus தவிர மீதி எல்லாத்துலயுமே வந்து என்னதுன்னா it is a non-motile. Male gametes are non-motile except in ginkgo and cycus. Hence, siphonogamous type of oogamy is observed. That is, a female cone or female flower has a megasporophyllis arranged in the spiral manner. The female cone is absent in the cycus la பார்த்தோம்னா the female cone வந்து எப்படி இருக்கும்னா absent ஆ இருக்கும். So here the ovule is largest in cycus and also integumented megasporangia. The ovules are covered by the many layers. Okay, and one of the nuclear cell act as the megaspore mother cell. It produces the megaspore by the reduction division. The megaspore undergo free nuclear division and result formation of what is that? Endosperm. Okay, so the development of female gametophyte from the megaspore either may be monosporic or tetrasporic. Okay, and the female gametophyte, if you see, it show one to many archegonia, or in some plants there is no archegonia also. Example, Neetamanda. Okay, here the pollination, if you see, it is the direct method of the pollination. Okay, so mostly in these plants the wind pollination pathona it is a common. Okay, and here the pollen tube is there na, it is act as what is that? A primary haustorium, then the sperm carrier. Okay, after the fertilization, zygote will be formed. The zygote develop into what is that? Embryo, ovule into the next develop into ovule into the seeds. These seeds are not covered. The sporophyte generation is dominant and the gametophyte generation is reduced. There is a regular alternation of generation. There is a alternation of generation. Okay, so here what happened? So first one, the male gamete will produce what is that? The male. Okay, that is a male gamete or a pollen. The pollination, okay, wind pollination will be takes place. After pollination, pollen reach the ovule containing what is that? Archegonium, the female gametophyte. The male gamete form the pollen which fuse the egg into the archegonium. The ovule into developed seed, the zygote develop into what is that? Embryo. Seed germinate and produce the new sporophytic plant. Okay, example, secudendrum I told. That is a tallest tree I told na. That is in California. And cycas, pinus, cedrus, these all are example of what is that? The gymnospermic plant. Okay, ma. So in this gymnosperm, male and female gametes do not have an independent free living existence. They will not live separately. They remain with what is that? Sporangia retained on the sporophytes. Okay, so it will retain in sporangia, it will retain. Okay, so the pollen grains is released from the microsporangium, that is from male. They are carried into the air, that is wind, and come in contact with the opening of what is that? Ovule, which is born on the megasporophilus. Okay, so the pollen tube will carry the male gametes, grow towards the archegonium into the what is that? The ovule, and discharge their content near the mouth of the archegonia. So following fertilization, zygote development, embryo, ovule to seeds. Okay, the seeds, whatever they form, it is not what is that? The covered by any layers. So this is the way what happened. The fusion will be takes place. Okay, any doubt in this? Okay, is it clear, children? So what I told, the
Yes, ma'am.
female, the gymnospores I told, they produce haploid microspores and megaspores. Okay, so these two pores are produced within the sporangia only. Don't get confused. இன்னொரு டைம் சொல்றேன். What is a gymnosporous heterosporous condition என்ன அப்படின்னா, the gymnospores are heterosporous. Okay, they produce haploid microspore. Male female ரெண்டும் produced ஆகுது. Both are haploid condition. Okay, so these both two kinds of spores are produced within the sporangia that are born on sporophilus, which is arranged spirally along the axis, form the what is that? Strobili and cones. The spores are formed what is it? Aggregate to form what is that? Strobili and cones. The strobili bearing microsporophilus and microsporangium are called as microsporangiate or male strobili. Adhe madri, if it is female, if it is there, it is called as what is that? Female strobili also present. Okay, and in male gamete வந்து, okay, it is highly reduced and it will produce the reduced to form what is that? Gametophyte is called as pollen grains. Okay, pollen grains வந்து male gametes will be produced. The pollen grains takes place within the microsporangia. The development of pollen grains takes place within the microsporangia. And the cones bearing megasporus within the ovules, megasporangia. They are called as macrosporangiate or female strobili. So the male and female cones are as strobili may be born on the same tree in the pinus. In cycas, male cones and megasporus are born in the different trees. Okay, so megaspore mother cell is differentiated from one of the cell of the nucellus. Okay, so the nucellus covered by what is that? That is ovule வந்து cover பண்ணி இருக்கிறது nucellus. Okay, so here the archegonia, it has a what is that? The archegonia, it is a long neck-like structure. Through that, the pollen grains will germinate and it reach the what is that? The female megasporangium, that is the ovule. Both the archegonium and female sex organs and antheridium, male sex organs, will release both the sex organs, sperms and what is that? Ovule. Both will combine together to form what is that? The new zygote which is developed into embryo, the embryo which is developed into seed. The seeds are not covered by what is that? Any layers, any covers. So this is what about the what? The gymnosperms reproduction. Okay, and the next thing, these are the some of the pictures, okay, about the gymnosperms. So neetum, cycas, so pinus plant. See, these are different types of what is that? Pinus plants. Okay, different types of the pinus plants. Okay, and the next thing is and one more thing, heterospory and seed habit. So what do you mean by heterospory? One more point alone I will add you about this heterospory and seed habit. When they discuss about gymnosperm, it is not in your textbook point of view. Make a note, what is heterospory and seed habit? So gymnosperms are considered as a primitive spermatophytes, and they have some of the characteristic. Okay, because the production of two types of spores is called as heterospory. What is heterospory? Na? They produce two types of spores. So it's called heterospory. They have some of the important characters. First character வந்து main note it. They have a, what is heterospory? There is a chance of question. question na, the production of what is that? Two types of spores na, they are called as what is that? Heterospory. And the ovule, the presence of integument around the megasporangium, that is ovule is covered by the integument, that is called nucellus ன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கேன். the ovule is covered by what is that? Integument ஆல ovule வந்து cover ஆயிருக்கு. And here megaspore and microsporangium பார்த்தோம்னா reduction in number of functional megaspore to one and each megasporangium. The megaspores வந்து என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா it get reduced, so that is one of the heterospory condition. And retention of functional megaspore in megasporangium and development of female gametophyte within the megasporangium. So this is also one of the condition of heterospory. Reduction of functional megaspore, reduction of function megaspores வந்து என்ன ஆகுது? It get reduced, so that is one of the condition. And next one வந்து retention of functional megaspore வந்து என்ன இருக்கு? அதாவது கண்டினியூ ஆயிருக்கு for the development of the female gametophyte within the megasporangium, and fertilization and development of embryo within the ovule. Okay, so whatever the characters I have listed, right? So these all are observed in the gymnosperms and angiosperms, hence they are called as seed plant and spermatophytes. Gymnosperms are considered as a primitive spermatophytes. Reason என்னன்னா, the two types of spores are produced. They have an integument around the megasporangium, reduction of number functional megaspore into to what is that? One in each megasporangium, and retention of functional megaspore in the megasporangium, and development of what is that? Female gametophyte within the megasporangium, and fertilization and development of embryo. So what are the listed characters are there? No, these characters which is present both in the gymnosperm and the angiosperms. So the actual approach of seed habit is observed in the few pteridophytes. Like what is that? These conditions are observed in few pteridophytes also, like a Selaginella. So they exhibit heterospory and reduction of functional megaspore. இந்த கண்டிஷன் வந்து pteridophytesல ஒரே ஒரு பிளான்ட்ல மட்டும் இருக்கு. அது வந்து என்னதுன்னா Selaginella. Can you tell me what are the heterospory and seed habits in both in gymnosperm and angiosperms? Yes. Yes. What are the heterospory and seed habit conditions? Yes, ma. Any one of them? What are the heterospory and seed habit condition? என்னென்ன heterospory seed habit condition இருக்கு both gymnosperm angiosperms ரெண்டுலயுமே?
naked seed, ma'am.
Naked seeds.
In gymnosperm, naked seed.
Angiospermly naked seeds.
No, ma'am.
Angiosperm covered by the seed cover. Okay. Yes. என்னென்ன heterospory condition? இப்ப சொன்னேன்ல heterospory and seed habit ன்னு சொன்னேன். What are the condition I'm asking?
nucellus integuments வந்து ovule வந்து integuments ஆல க்ளோஸ் ஆயிருக்கு, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, the ovules are covered by the integument. One second point.
nucellus.
Nucellus and
megaspore reduction.
production of two types of microspores and megaspores production வந்து gymnospermலயும் இருந்துச்சு pteridophytesலயும் இருந்துச்சு. நோட் பண்ணீங்களா?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, so two types of spore formation. ஒன்னு second வந்து presence of integument. Okay, it's very important question ma. Okay, production of integument. Okay, integument present ஆயிருக்கிறது. And megaspores இருக்குல்ல, the functional megaspores வந்து get reduced, reduction ஆகிறது. மூணாவது வந்து சேம் the functional megaspores வந்து என்ன இருக்கு? ரீடென்ஷன் ஆகுறது. அதே பேரண்ட்லயே வந்து இருக்கிறது, ரீடென்ஷன் ஆகுறது. Retention of functional megaspore in megasporangium, and it will develop into what is that? Female gametophyte within the megasporangium only. Female megasஇல்லையே அதுலயே இருந்து அதுலயே growth ஆகி டெவலப் ஆகுறது. ஓகே, அண்ட் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன் வந்து ஃபர்டிலைசேஷன் நடக்கிறது, டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் எம்ப்ரியோ வித்தின் ஓவியலுக்குள்ளேயே ஃபர்டிலைசேஷனும் டெவலப்மெண்ட்டும் நடக்கிறது தான் என்னது? ஹெட்ரோஸ்போரி அண்ட் சீட் ஹேபிட்ஸ். ஓகேவா? Okay, ma. Okay, so this is what about the gymnosperms. Okay, so don't get confused. Gymnosperms are heterosporous. ஏன்னா ரெண்டு ஸ்போர்ஸ் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுது, மைக்ரோஸ்போரஸ் அண்ட் மெகாஸ்போரஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ மைக்ரோஸ்போரஸ் மெகாஸ்போரஸ் ரெண்டுமே வந்து அக்ரிகேட் ஆகி டு ஃபார்ம் வாட் இஸ் தட் கோன்ஸும் அண்ட் ஆல்சோ வாட் இஸ் தட் கோன்ஸ் ஆர் ஸ்டொபைலஸா ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுது. மைக்ரோஸ்போர்ஸ் வந்து என்ன ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுதுன்னா போலன் வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுது. மெகாஸ்போர்ஸ் வந்து என்ன ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுதுன்னா ஓவியூல் வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுது. ஓகேவா? ஸோ இந்த மைக்ரோஸ்போர்ஸ் வந்து produce the pollens, right? These pollens will reach the megaspores with the help of the wind. Okay, and once the pollens are reached the megasporangium, it will germinate to form what is that pollen tube. This pollen tube வந்து என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னா carry the what male gamete to the what a female ovule. Okay, once the female ovule வந்து reach ஆன உடனே என்ன ஆகும், the male gamete வந்து fuse with the what is that egg of archegonium. So then the both will fuse together நடக்கும்போது zygote form ஆகுது. Zygote which is developed into embryo, embryo which is developed into what is that a seed. Okay, the seeds which is produced by this plant வந்து it is not covered by the any coverings. Okay, so this is what about the what seed germin plant in the fertilization. Okay, and heterospory condition also. Okay, so the next one வந்து என்னது about the angiosperms. Shall I move that? We will finish it only. Small topic only you have, it is angiosperms about. Okay, unlike gymnosperms, the ovules are in gymnosperm it is naked, but it is seeds வந்து எப்படி இருக்காது, not naked, right? Yes, yes or no? So here angiosperms பார்த்தோம்னா they are flowering plants. Okay, and male and female gametes are produced in the flowers. And the seeds are covered by what is that seed wall or fruit wall. Okay, the smallest angiosperms pathona Wolffia. The largest tree என்னன்னா eucalyptus, seen in these groups. Okay va, smallest one வந்து Wolffia, it is a picture given. The largest one வந்து என்னதுன்னா eucalyptus. Okay va, Wolffia is the Wolffia to tall tree to eucalyptus, nearly 100 meters it will grow. Okay, small microscopic plant, this is Wolffia. அதே மாதிரி டாலஸ்ட் வந்து என்னது, even we have what is that eucalyptus also we have. Understood? And if you see plants, the seed conditions and all, most of the angiosperms வந்து large groups everywhere, wide range of what is that habitat it has. Okay, and they provide food or fuel, medicines. They have a lot of, okay, economically very very important the angiosperms are. Okay, they are classified into two based on the seeds. Okay, one is monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Okay, monocotyledons na it is a single cotyledons it has. Cotyledon naale seed coat it store the food, and single cotyledon na monocotyledon, dicotyledon na they two. Okay, and they have undergo what is that reproduction like a vegetative reproduction and sexual reproduction also. So vegetative reproduction we know, okay, with help of the what is that stem. Vegetative reproductions are takes place with help of stem, root, leaf. Okay, stem வந்து examples. Can you give me example vegetative reproduction by stem? Can you give me vegetative reproduction by stem?
Rose, jasmine.
Okay, root வரும்போது carrot, carrot, turnip, and also what are radish. These are comes under the what is that the root. Leaf வந்து we have studied about bryophyllum, begonia. Yes, stem வந்து the undergo modified, stems are undergo modified to store food. Examples வந்து என்னது potato is example, and also what is that rhizome, ginger is an example, and also what is that onion, bulb. These are the example of what is that vegetative reproduction. And sexual reproduction வந்து it takes place what is that both the male and female gametes. Okay, so both male and female gametes which is present inside the what is that flower. If we know that about the unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers also, right? We know unisexual and bisexual flowers, right? The angiosperms வந்து reproductive part of the plant வந்து என்னதுன்னா flowers. Okay, so the flowers பார்த்தோம்னா, okay, there what is that it is divided into two based on the sex organs are present, unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers na both either a male or female sex organs are present na unisexual. Both male and female sex organs are present na it is called as the bisexual flowers. Okay, so this is unisexual based on the sex organs. And flower pathona, it has covered by 4 layers. Outermost layer is a calyx, next layer is corolla, after innermost 2 layers are okay andrecium, and another one is the innermost layer pathona gynecium. So gynecium is the female reproductive part, andrecium is what is that, male reproductive part. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. The angiosperms, they have what is that? Two classes I told. One is the dicotyledons and monocotyledons. Okay, so all algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, இது all are 5 plant kingdoms. Okay, அதுல வந்து இதுலதான் வந்து இந்த மெஜாரிட்டி ஆஃப் த பிளான்ஸ் வந்து நம்ம பாக்குறது எல்லாமே வந்து என்னது, that is about what, the angiosperms only. That is about the angiosperms only. Okay, and the next thing வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா the monocotyledons na already I told it is a single cotyledon seeds. Okay, and they have a monoclot plant, they have a parallel venation. Okay, they have a flowers trimerous. You know what I mean by trimerous? 3 members in each floral whorl. And sex organs வந்து என்னதுன்னா male andrecium, female வந்து gynecium. Male stamen also we can count. We know about from the previous primary level we are studying about the angiosperms only. Yes, so female வந்து pistil, carpel and all. Okay, so the sex organs, if you see, and the embryo sac, okay, formed by the meiosis, by the process of meiosis. Okay, the embryo sac is haploid. Okay, so in embryo sac பார்த்தோம்னா it is a 8 cell stage. In a female embryo sac வந்து 8 cell stageல இருக்கும். Okay, so in bottom வந்து 3 cells, that is the egg apparatus, and மேல இருக்கிறது வந்து கீழ இருக்கிறது synergids, மேல 3 cells இருக்கும், that is called as what is embryo sac. In bottom of the embryo sac we have a 3 cells synergids. In upper region of the embryo sac we have a 3 cells, that is antipodals, and centerல வந்து 2 polar nuclei we have. Okay, and so during the fertilization, the male gamete which is land on the stigma of the female body. Okay, the stigma வந்து என்னது, it is a sticky nature and it is moist. Okay, and with help of the sticky nature